Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Just Keep Showing Up podcast. This is your man Derek, and today I am here with Abdul. Yes.
Yes,
Hey, what's going
sir.
on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, brother. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with me. And like I mentioned on all of the episodes, I always introduce the person saying it's something that this person said, did, something about them that drew me to the person. And for you, it was just your energy in the gym. I know we spoke that you train women in the gym. I thought it was actually primarily women, but you corrected me. It's like, no, it's not just women.
Oh yeah,
But you do.
absolutely. I mainly train women, but I do also
Hmm.
train males as well. I
Yeah.
definitely am a strong believer of almost the same thing that what you train a woman, you're gonna train a man. It's just that a woman is she's just more a little complex, and that's in a
Okay.
good way, because
Yeah.
us men we're simple beings versus a woman is
Yes.
complex, and complexity is needed in life, right? So that's just my
Yeah. Yeah.
personal. That's how I kind of look
Okay,
at
yeah.
things.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about women and like professional sports, particularly like a sport like golf or bowling, even basketball with a jump shot. I feel like anything that's technical, if you want to learn like good form, sometimes women will have that better form just because as men we have the extra muscle. Not that all men
Right,
are, stronger than women, but you know what I'm saying? A woman is I feel like is going to use more fundamentals. They jump shot, they're gonna flip their wrist with the golf swing. They're gonna really, they're
yep,
not swing with their arms. They're gonna swing the club the right way, use their lower body. So I kind of had a conversation
right.
about that
And
same thing yesterday, man.
and I completely agree. And even I just think, even when it comes down to the way how they think, they're gonna think
Mm-hmm.
more technical, way more than they're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
thinking like oh, like just simplicity. And even
Yeah.
that, I think it makes their form a little bit more crisp
Yeah, I
when it
agree,
comes to,
man.
like you said, when it comes to a jump shot, well, any sport,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, man? I know we just talked about that, but just like a little intro, tell us about yourself. There's nothing that's right or wrong. It's just whatever you want to share.
All right, man. So, first and foremost, I'm born and raised in LA, Los Angeles. That's where my family, they are actually from Sierra Leone, and they came out to Cali in about maybe 1990. My dad came out here probably a little even earlier than that. Flew my mom out there. My mom was there for a couple years. Then I come in the picture. So again, born and raised in LA. um Athlete, I played basketball since I was 13. I played in high school, varsity, junior varsity, and varsity. I played in college. It was a little bit of JUCO, and I wasn't even that good. I was red shirting, gray shirting, whatever you want to call it. We had our own special term for it. And so I was always practicing with the team. I'd even be playing a little bit with the team, but not. I wouldn't like be like actually in the games or anything like that. So again, not that good.
Yeah.
But also after college, I so first off, I started in college trying to do computer engineering. I did that for 2 years. I realized computer engineering is not what I want to do. I'm more interested in the human body. I like the human body more so, and so I got into kinesiology. And
Okay.
then and after college, man, after college, it's been a roller coaster. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave that probably for the podcast.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, man. My and I'm just a transparent podcaster. My daughter called in the middle of you talking, and what's cool about Riverside, I don't even know if you noticed that. Uh, but she called and it kicked me out of the studio and brought me back in. You were still talking, so that's good. So I kind of missed some of
Hey,
that,
that
but but I think
it's all good.
Riverside grabbed it for us, man.
I appreciate the transparency. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, yes. And I know, right, you wrapped it up at the end talking about basketball. You play basketball in college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, you said that.
yeah, yeah, right. That's right. Again, I didn't play on any games or anything like that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
in any official booking or anything like that. But I always practice with the team.
Oh,
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
awesome,
I
man.
travel with
Yeah.
them. I practice with them, but
Mm-hmm.
I was not like allowed to play on the team technically.
Yeah. Is that something that's common in college? I feel like colleges have guys that go to the
Yeah,
school that become like a part of like an NFL, how you have a practice squad. But
yeah,
these folks are
essentially.
just committed
So
to the team. Yeah.
exactly. So there's either like a gray shirt or a red shirt. I was considered a gray shirt, and
Mm-hmm.
well, I always mix it up, gray shirt, red shirt, because we had our own term, but the closest thing to it, it would be called a gray shirt, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're like under a certain scholarship that doesn't allow you to play basketball, but that wasn't necessarily what it is. But still, it's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the like layman's term is what I like to call it.
Okay. All right. That's cool, man. That you still had a chance to play with them. I would have loved that. Like I wanted to play football in college, but ended up joining the army like a year after college because I just didn't get the right grades. My thing was I thought I wanted to do electrical engineering. Went to my first math class and I was like, mm-mm, no, no, this I can't figure it out. So that means you're
Right? No,
very very smart,
exactly.
man. Yeah. Uh,
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily smart. I just if I want something,
determined.
I'm gonna go for it type of
There
thing. You
you
know what I'm
go. There
saying?
you go,
And
man. Yeah.
and if it don't work out, it don't work out.
Hmm. Yeah, peace lives in that arena right there. All right, man. Just jumping right into the first question, and kind of ties into that. What's a specific moment in your life when you felt like giving up, either professionally or personally, and what was the turning point that kept you going?
Mm, it's gonna sound kind of cheesy, but this is something that always sticks in my mind. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that there was one time that I was driving home, and like I had no money, no nothing, no resources that I can use, and my car broke down.
Mm-hmm.
And this funny because this is not even closest to the worst thing that's ever happened to me, but this always just sticks out to me. And I had no way how to get it home. I had no idea how to even think about what I'm gonna do next. And so what I just started doing, I just sit in the car. I chilled for like about an hour, and I'm like, okay, best thing I could do is wait for the sun to go down a little bit, and then I start walking home.
Wow.
That was a 20-mile walk with a lot of hills and a lot of mountains. 20-mile walk. I ended up getting
Mm-hmm.
home like about six hours later, and that was the first time that I ever did anything like that distance, even remotely. You know,
Okay.
even with that, I still had to figure out how am I going to get this car. And then,
Yeah.
I just take a leap of faith because I'm not really comfortable asking people questions or like for favors or help or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And so I ended up reaching out to some friends, and they're like, I can't help you, but here, let me help, let me see if this person can help. And then I ended up
Mm-hmm.
getting help that way. And that really opened up to me that it's like, yo, like don't be afraid of anything really, because on the on the opposite side of fear is the best things that can possibly
Mm-hmm.
happen to you, and you don't even know it,
Mm-hmm.
because that led into so much different type of blessings down the road that I'm like forever grateful for.
That's interesting, man. So your car breaking down and you just deciding to walk. Was this how long ago was this? Like what time in your life was this?
This is probably while I was in college. So I'm 32 right now. This is probably like
Okay.
about 10 or 11 years ago.
Wow, were
And
you in
it was just
California?
Yeah, this is when I was in California, and there
Okay.
was just
Yeah.
so many things personally going on in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
that was like
Yeah.
literally the absolute last thing that I needed.
Yeah.
like,
I,
like it was like the worst. Like
yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
even.
it's I think it's interesting, man, that you can that you even look at that as something that changed because and I always try to kind of come back and and repeat what I'm hearing. Uh, that you kind of just settled in and said, I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing. I'm going to move my body and do something. And you took that walk
Mhm.
and perhaps
Right.
maybe something that seemed very challenging and terrible at the moment produced something better in your life. So I feel like now going forward, you probably like, whatever happens, I'm just going to do something. And I know something is good waiting on the other side of it, other than just sitting in it, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, and I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
literally always had this mindset that and this is like a negative mindset of like younger me, of I
Mm-hmm.
don't know nothing me, right? Whereas like, oh, I'm not even so sure if I'm gonna be a statistic or not, especially coming from
Yeah.
California, Westside
Yeah.
California, Inglewood, in that
Mm-hmm.
area relatively where there's a lot of gangbanging and stuff like that. I'm like, am I
Mm-hmm.
even gonna make it to 25? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So already I kind of had that defeatist mindset,
Mm-hmm.
but I noticed the shift that day, and
Yeah.
that's what I
Mm-hmm.
think. That's why I always go back to it.
Yeah, and I think it's I don't I mean I didn't come from like Inglewood. I'm from New Orleans, but from Kenner, that's a suburb of New Orleans, and
Mhm.
it's interesting because had those thoughts, man. You see people that you grew up with and they don't make it, and something happens to them. Even some people who are not in the streets, just get caught up,
Mhm.
and that's the environment you're growing up in. So negative mindset, I don't even call it that, man. It's just the mind, it's what you grew up in, and fortunately life allowed you to see something differently. And then what's amazing, man, and I'm 50, I'll be 50 this year, and I'm just getting to a place now where I'm realizing that it's not so much about where you came from. That's just where you start. That doesn't that doesn't speak to what your possibility is in life. I do think
Right,
where we come from provides a different set of opportunities or circumstances initially, but once we kind of get an opportunity to take charge of our life, then we can kind of guide it in the way we want to go to. It just may take a little longer than other people,
right,
So
right.
yeah, so that's I just think that's so, man, just something that you thought was very simple is like touching me. The fact that your car broke down, you're 22 years old, that's a big deal. And you got up and you walked 20, you said 20 miles. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, it was
big. You know
27
what I mean?
miles,
So yeah.
and yeah, and it was some hills that was looking like mountains. Honestly speaking, that I had to climb, but
Yeah.
it
But
was
you
just it
kept
was
going,
just the
man.
walk. I think it was the walk that really like helped me change my mindset a lot at that point in time. That I
Hmm.
really needed it to change at that time.
Yeah. What does it look like for you, man, when showing up on a day like sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world? What does that feel like or look like for you? Because I know you just kind of explained a rough day. Uh,
Mhm.
if that question is even making sense, to kind of keep that
So
balance.
so I would say that like so you like is what you're asking like, oh, what is my mindset or how is my mind when I'm on the top of the world and stuff like that, when I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
nothing can stop me type of
Yeah.
thing. Is that
Hmm.
what I'm understanding?
Yes, yeah. You didn't got in the zone shooting basketball. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? You about to hit 83, like my man the
Right,
other
right.
day.
Right. Hey, that was amazing. Although I had
Yeah.
at first I was a little skeptical, but then I was like, okay, nah, I like that's no, who else is doing that though?
I mean, he
So it's
made
like
the
I gotta give him
buckets no
that props.
matter, even if they gave him a free layup or free
Exactly.
jump shots, he had to make it.
It
So,
don't matter. It don't matter exactly.
hmm,
If somebody else wants to
yeah.
go and score 83, they gotta go do it. But let me
Yes.
say, when I'm on the top of my game, when I feel like the like no nothing can stop me, I'm on top of the world
Hmm.
and stuff like that. I honestly try not to get too caught up in it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, honestly speaking. Like if I'm really like, cause I'll like be pumped up and I'll be like, let's go, and I'll be like happy, excited, and
Yeah.
like everywhere, but I don't want to get too caught up in myself and do something stupid. If
Hmm.
I'm
I
being
got you.
honest,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Kind of.
because like for example, even just because I used to trade like doing forex and crypto and stuff like that. I still do, but I
Hmm.
just do it more on the side, more so than
Yeah.
like really like stay focused in it. And I remember when I won the most amount of money that I've ever traded, and I remember when I like actually earned that, and I was ecstatic. I was excited because I was like, "Yo, this is gonna help me pay so many bills. This is gonna be able to
Hmm.
make me, be able to buy wifey some things that I know that she's been saying that she wants and stuff like
Hmm.
that." And the anxiety that came with that as well,
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't like that
Hmm.
anxiety because
Yeah.
and this is unfortunately for me, shortly after I lost damn near all of it because I
Hmm.
was I was
Yeah.
too high, you know what I'm saying? The anxiety was too
Yeah.
high, and then I
Hmm.
started getting into that greed mindset, which I'm not afraid to admit, because when it comes to trading and even when it comes to like gambling and stuff like that comes with that as well. It's like when you win, you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I could go and win more. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor here nor there. But again, the anxiety that came with it is what I
Hmm.
didn't enjoy, and that's why I try to like balance myself out. If
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
if that's
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this necklace that I usually wear. It's called Metatron's Cube.
Uh-huh.
I'll send a message to you with about it and everything. But basically, it's to balance you out. It's to balance you. If
Okay.
like if you're too high, for you to come back down to being
Mm-hmm.
neutral. If you're too low, then come back being
Yeah.
neutral. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's when I feel like I can operate at my best. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I feel with me, man, I'm like a person, I enjoy balance. But I definitely try to enjoy the moment or rest in the moment for what it is. That's whether I'm like if I'm like having I'm sad or depressed about something, I try to make sure I sit in it, not in a sense of sitting in it and like and just sitting there with no purpose. Is to make sure I'm feeling everything. So when I come out, I'm really coming out of something. And then when things happen really, really good, I enjoy that moment for what it is, and then understanding that change is always that's the one thing that's very positive. Things are always changing. So that's what it kind of and I
Right.
always like again repeat back to make sure that's kind of what resonates with me with what you're saying. It's like, hey, yeah, I want this money, I'm enjoying it, I'm doing everything. It's gonna do a lot of good great things for my family. But then
Mhm.
understanding change comes. So yeah. And I think it's
Oh
really
yeah,
good when you
that's
touched on the gambling piece and the addiction that comes with that too. So it's that's just the other side
mhm.
of it. So that's
Hey,
real.
no, that's
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 real
re-
life.
that that's real. That's real stuff right
Mm-hmm.
there. Like I always tell my clients, me as a personal trainer, I always tell my clients that it's like, yo, there's always going to be changes, especially
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to this health, wellness, losing weight, gaining muscle.
Yeah,
There's always going
man.
to be changes, and sometimes those changes are not going to be positive changes. Sometimes there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be changes where you're going to be mad and upset at yourself because that happens to me too. However,
Mm-hmm.
it's just knowing that it's part of the process and then just trusting in the process and staying committed to the process is going to keep you more sane. It's going to make you be like, okay, this is regular. This is not something that is out of the ordinary. This is something that I'm okay with happening because it just has to happen,
Yeah, yep, I
you know?
agree, man. So speaking of your clients, and I'm going to this one. This is more
Mm.
this for you though. When motivation fades, what's a core belief, routine, or a mindset you lean on to get yourself going again?
Ooh. I have a couple. I have a couple of those
Mm-hmm.
actually. Number one is, and it's funny that you mentioned about the clients. Number one, especially um, when it comes to me not wanting to do something, I'm like, if this was this person, what would they do? You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
always do that.
the
I'm
life
always
of a
like,
trainer.
it's like if it's this. Yeah, like it's like if it's this client, what would they do? It's like, okay, or if it's this person, what would they do? It's either A, I'm gonna get inspiration from it by
Mm-hmm.
doing it, or B, but by doing the opposite of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yes.
I do find myself gaining a lot of my motivation and my or my just kick it back into high gear. I do get that energy from other sources, as in
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I gotta do this not for myself but for others. I gotta do it for
Yeah.
my family. I gotta do it for
Mm-hmm.
the betterment of this person, and stuff like that that makes me be like, okay, like, yeah, let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? even
Mm-hmm.
even if my body feels defeated, even if my mind feels defeated or anything like that, I still get that energy from outside sources. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And even
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
internally, and even when I don't have those outside sources, I even like dig deep, and again,
Mm.
I think about, okay, if this person was in my shoes and they had this information, what would they do? Even like when it comes to my mom, that's like a big one for me. I'm always like,
Mm.
what will my mom do? You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, even if I even
Yeah.
even though I don't want to do this, I have to do
Mm-hmm.
this, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir, man. That's good. Good stuff. This next one, I feel like we definitely answered. Oh, here's if you could go back and tell your younger self one thing about perseverance, what would it be?
Um, this is gonna be
There's no wrong
I don't know. I
answers,
think that
man.
it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be a hot take. I think this is gonna be a hot take, but
Okay.
not. You don't have to persevere in everything.
Man,
You
that
don't
is
have to
not a hot
persevere in
take.
everything.
That's not a hot take. That is like that's
You know,
that's good.
right? Exactly. Like you don't have to persevere
Yes.
because I was when I was younger, I was that guy that wanted to do everything. I wanted to be
Yeah,
excellent at
man.
everything,
Yeah.
and I had to learn. It's like, yo, you can't be great at everything. You can be great at some things. You can't be great at
Yeah.
everything though. You
Mm-hmm.
know, or you can be good at a lot of things.
Yeah. That's
But
very insightful, man.
but I had to also know is that you have to know where like to put your everything and then where you have to limit yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that
Yeah.
my younger self needed to hear hella.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you said that, it made me think about uh just at the end of an electric car, like if you got a Tesla or something. I don't know how they work because I don't have one, but I would imagine like if or just with a race, with basketball, any sport, especially probably basketball, like you shooting basketball, you got to know when to turn it on and when not to turn it on. If you
Mhm.
go out there and you're playing basketball, you don't realize that it's 4 quarters and you give it all you got in the first quarter, you gas yourself out. You got 3 more quarters of the game left,
Exactly.
or running a half marathon, man. So, man, that is good. You don't
No,
have to
yeah.
persevere through everything.
You
Man,
don't. You
that's
don't.
that
You
wasn't a hot
know,
take.
what one of my things my coach used to always tell me is like, yo, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta slow it down. You gotta slow it
Yeah.
down. You don't
Yeah.
gotta go 120 miles per hour. You gotta slow it down. Always.
Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest thing. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's just one again. You don't gotta persevere in everything.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. Kind of flowing all the same, but what's a lesson you learned the hard way that you now value deeply? And it makes me think about
A
something.
lesson.
Yeah, I always tell people, things happen, and sometimes, like I have two kids. My daughter's 27. My daughter's 26. My son is 19, and
Mhm.
I've learned that, and the same with me, with my mom, when she was like teaching me stuff. I've learned now that you can try to guide your kids or your friends and tell them what you think is best, or when they ask your advice, of course. But sometimes life is the better teacher. Sometimes life has to happen to people, and you just got to pray that
Exactly.
there's grace to catch them. So that's what I'm thinking about with this. Something that you learned the
So
hard way, meaning life had to teach you.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Um, at first I was gonna use um at first I was gonna use my daughter as an example, but I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
use her as an example. So I'm gonna use my sister instead.
Okay.
So unfortunately, my sister is an addict, and
Mm-hmm.
she's been an
Okay.
addict for a very long time. She's been in that situation since I was in college and stuff like that. And my sister's
Mm-hmm.
basically the one that raised me. Like she's basically
Wow.
my mom because my mom had to work a lot. She had to work
Mm-hmm.
like 20 hours a day and stuff like that. So my sister
Yeah.
has to step up and do that. And she's 9 years older than me.
Okay.
And so I remember when there was one time where she was able to stay over at my place. I was able to like, yo, come over to my place. I got a bed for you so that you could be able to like at least have a roof over your head and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she unfortunately was still doing the things that she wasn't supposed to be doing. So it's like, hey, and especially with the person that I was with at the time,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, hey, I want to go ahead and put you in a shelter and stuff like that. And I was able to do that for her, and she was able to get the help that she needed, and
Mm-hmm.
so she was doing good for a year and a half, and stuff like that. Me and my mom were happy about that, and then
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately she relapses.
Mm-hmm.
She relapses, and I used to always beat myself up because I used to think that I was the source of that happening to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I even told my and even like even in therapy I talk about this to my therapist, and I usually be like, oh, I'm the source of it because she had to take care of me at such a young age. When I don't
Gotcha.
think that
Yeah.
she or she where she didn't deserve to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time,
Yeah.
it's like I didn't have any control of that, and
Yeah.
it really that's probably one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn. That is like, yo, this isn't because of you.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
Yeah. Yes.
this is something is that stuff that she has to deal with. And if
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know how to cope with it and deal with it, then it's not on you to try to go and save her, because I tried
Mm,
saving her multiple times. I tried,
yeah.
helping out multiple times, and that was doing bad on my mental health, and
Hmm.
that affected me very deeply, and even my relationships in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then me like realizing like, yo, this isn't my, unfortunately, that's not my cross, that's not my cross to carry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that's not my cross to carry. So that's probably one of the toughest lessons that I learned. The hard, and
Man.
definitely the hard way.
Yeah. And that's been through you having a therapist and getting an opportunity to talk to someone and having them help
Mm.
carry you through that. Yeah. Yeah. And the reason I
Yeah,
repeat that, man, is just go.
even my wife,
Hmm.
man. Even my wife,
Yeah.
she helped me a lot with that. She helped me tremendously
Hmm.
because she's also like, eldest daughter, so it's kind of like she can relate to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't experienced anything like that. But it's I think it's good, man, just to pull on the fact that you're in therapy, that you have a therapist. I do too, and to let people know that it's okay. It's okay to go talk to someone and get some help. I mean, we do it with everything in our life. We do it with our car. We do it with our body.
Hmm.
People come and talk to you about their body, help me get myself together. But the mental side of us is
Exactly.
what actually keeps us going. So I think it's a beautiful thing, man.
Mind over
Uh,
matter. Mind over matter. Once you're
hmm.
able to get over the obstacles in your mind, you can get over anything physically.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yes, yes. Very true. I'm giggling because I just talked to a friend and I'm thinking about running a 10 miler in 2 months. So we're gonna see.
Mm.
We'll
Hey,
see.
hey man, it is, it's funny because we have all these runners that are inspiring us. Like, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
man,
yes. I've
like
run a couple
I'm
of half
definitely right there with
marathons.
you.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see if I can get it picked back up, man. So here's my last question for you, and we'll see if you have anything else. But if anybody's listening to this podcast, man, and they like, man, he was all on it. I could just relate to what he's going through, some of the things he shared. What advice would you give that person?
Don't give up on yourself.
Hmm.
Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Not every day you're gonna be able to go at this 100%. Not
Yeah.
every day is gonna be all sunshine and rainbows, but
Hmm.
showing up is always gonna be better than not showing up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
being able to move our bodies is a blessing, and being able to use our minds is a blessing. And if you have that, then definitely don't take advantage of it. I mean, not don't take
Hmm.
advantage of it, but
Don't
don't take
take
it
it
for
for granted.
granted.
Yeah. Yes. Hmm.
Take advantage
Yes.
of it. Take advantage of
Yes.
it, because
Yep. Yep.
we only we we wake up every day, God willing, right? But we don't know
Hmm.
when it's gonna be our last breath. So you gotta
Yeah.
take it for take it for what it is, and take. I don't know. I don't even know why I was jumbling up on my words, but y'all get the point. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like,
No. No.
definitely take advantage
Because
of
you
this
mean it,
life that we
man.
live in. Taking
Yes.
advantage of this life, because it's a good one. There's a lot of negativity that's going on in the world, and
Hmm.
it's stuff that, unfortunately, we don't have direct control over it, but we got to take it, once we take it one day at a time, and we're able to get right with ourselves. That's when we can go and help others,
Yeah. I
because
agree, man.
it's very hard for you to help others when you can't help yourself.
Yeah, and that makes me think about when you were just touching on your sister, man, and saying that you kind of was losing yourself in the midst of trying to help her. That you got to take care of yourself, and I agree, man. Uh, that was good, man, and I 100% agree. Anything else you want to share, man, before we close this out?
um
No pressure.
that's funny. mm, eh, um Grind. Y'all,
Yes.
you better be going to the opening on Saturday.
Oh, I'll be there Saturday. Yeah, this will come out after
Okay,
the
cool.
opening. Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I'll just
Yeah,
as
no,
you was talking,
absolutely.
man,
So,
a- as you were talking and saying it's gonna be, just show up and make it to the next day. That's kind of what grind reminds me of, man. Like the community that's been built there, especially for the morning crew when I'm primarily there and when I see you, it's just people that's all different walks of life have got the same goals of just trying to do
Mhm.
better. And it's so interesting
1%
when you
better
show
every
up.
day.
Yeah, you show up that way and you show up your authentic way. You draw people to you and not to some version of you. You know what I mean? Like you should
Yeah.
draw them to the true you. So yeah, absolutely, man.
Right.
Grind is our place.
I mean, we all wear masks. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
there's one thing that is one thing that I know is that we all have all different kinds of masks that we wear. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, when you go out there, it's like, dang, it's like this is like authentic. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not fake. It's not it's like nothing that I've ever been a part of. You know, and so
Yeah.
that's one thing that I really love about grind. But yeah, man, that was one thing I wanted to make sure. I was making sure that you was gonna be there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll be there 10 o'clock, man.
All
Man,
right,
well, thank you.
and for those that if you're watching, if it's not if you're watching this before then 12 o'clock, make sure you're there. Cool.